She moaned his name in her sleep, and it wasn't mine. I sat there in the dark, listening, frozen, heart beating like a war drum. By morning, I'd uncovered a secret life so twisted, it made me doubt my own sanity. They say trust is like glass. Once it cracks, you can glue it back together, but it'll never be whole again. I was lying in bed next to my wife, Emily, after one of those long, soul-sucking workdays. Lights off. Curtains pulled. Silence. Except it wasn't silent. She was dreaming. Breathing shallow. And then she said it. Oh, Nate. My name is Tyler. At first I thought I misheard. I wanted to mishear. I needed to mishear. But then she said it again, clearer this time. The way she dragged it out. The tone. Like she was reliving something. Something real. My whole body went still. Eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling fan spinning uselessly above. My chest tightened. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. I just listened. Don't stop. Nate! My stomach twisted like someone had reached inside and wrung it out. I felt a cold sweat drip down my back as I turned toward her in the dark. She was facing away from me. Peaceful. Content. Smiling. Smiling. I whispered, barely audible. Who the hell is Nate? She didn't respond. Of course she didn't. She was asleep. But whatever dream she was having, I wasn't in it. And I hadn't been for a long time. The next morning, I didn't say a word. Just watched her. She moved around the kitchen like nothing happened. Made coffee. Hummed. Kissed me on the cheek like she always did. Like we weren't living a lie. Morning, babe, she said, pouring almond milk into her mug. You sleep okay? I nodded. You? Yeah, pretty good. I think I had some weird dreams, though. Can't really remember them. Liar. I couldn't believe how easy it came to her. She looked me right in the eye, smiled, and lied like it was nothing. Like I wasn't even human. Just a background prop in her perfect little world. So I started watching. I paid attention to every little thing she did that day. The way she kept checking her phone when she thought I wasn't looking. The sudden smile she'd flash at the screen, then try to hide by tucking her hair behind her ear. The long pause in the hallway when she was just grabbing a sweater, but came back without one. My hands were shaking when I took out my own phone that night and installed the tracker app on hers while she showered. I hated myself for it. But not as much as I hated the look on her face when she texted him. Because I knew. Her passcode hadn't changed in years. Same birthday, same 4 digits. She never thought she'd need to hide it. And just like that, I was in. First thing I checked was her messages. Nothing. Clean. Too clean. I scrolled through her calls. She'd deleted the history. Or thought she had. But I found something in her WhatsApp backups, an unsensed folder from 2 months ago. Tucked away like a forgotten memory. And there it was. Nate. No last name. Just Nate. But the way she wrote to him, she might as well have carved it into my bones. Can't stop thinking about yesterday. You're still all over me. He has no idea. God, it makes it hotter. When can I see you again? I had to stop reading. I couldn't breathe. My vision blurred and I realized I'd been holding back tears without even noticing. She'd called me boring once, as a joke. You're my rock, Ty, she said. Stable. Steady. Safe. But now I knew what she meant. I was her placeholder. He was her thrill. That night, I stared at her while she slept. She didn't whisper his name again. Just lay there like nothing was wrong. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab her and ask her how long, ask her why the hell I wasn't enough. But I didn't. Because I wasn't ready for the truth. Not yet. No, I needed to see it for myself. I needed proof. So I made a plan. And the next day, the real game began. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I just watched her. Emily had no idea I was tracking her phone. No clue I'd found the backup folder she forgot to wipe. She floated around the house humming, texting him, acting like I was too dumb or too in love to ever question anything. She thought I was asleep that Thursday night when she slipped out of bed to grab some water. I watched the location ping from our kitchen, to the garage, too. No location available. That meant one thing. She turned off her phone. At 1:13 a.m. Who the hell turns off their phone for a glass of water? I stood in the dark hallway, watching through the slats of the blinds as her taillights disappeared down the street. I didn't follow. Not yet. I wasn't ready to confront. I was still gathering the arsenal. So instead, I did what she never expected. I became invisible. The next morning, I didn't ask where she went. Didn't accuse. Just poured her coffee like always and asked if she wanted oat milk or regular. She didn't flinch. She smiled. "You're so good to me." My stomach turned. That day, while she was working late, I went to war. First stop, our shared iCloud. Most people don't know this, but even if you delete messages, photos, videos, they're still in your recently deleted folder for up to 30 days. Unless you go in and manually wipe that too. Guess what she didn't do? There they were. 39 deleted photos. Mostly harmless stuff, selfies, food, memes. But then I found it. A boomerang. Black and white. Hotel room mirror. She was in lingerie, expensive stuff I'd never seen her wear for me. She panned the camera to the right just long enough to catch the edge of the bed. And a man's hand. Tattoo on the wrist. I paused. Zoomed in. Nate. In black ink. Block letters. Burned into his skin like some sick badge of honor. I stared at it for a long time. Not just the tattoo. The timestamp. 2 months ago. The weekend she told me she was visiting her sister in Chicago. The same weekend she came home with a new perfume, said it was a sample. I remember I told her she smelled amazing. She laughed and said, "You notice everything." Apparently not. I started making notes. Times. Places. Patterns. She'd lie small. Say she was going to Trader Joe's, end up across town. Say she was stuck at work, be parked in a residential neighborhood for 3 hours. Every lie was a breadcrumb. And I followed them all. But the key moment? The one that told me who he really was? Came from our dog. Sounds stupid, I know. But hear me out. Emily doesn't like walking our dog late at night. Says it creeps her out. So one night, around 10 p.m., I offered to take him out. Not because I was feeling helpful, but because I'd just gotten a push notification. Her phone had pinged at a bar 3 blocks from our house. It wasn't a date spot. It was one of those dingy dive bars with darts, and cheap beer and bikers who'd beat your ass for looking at them wrong. So I leashed up our golden retriever and walked him straight there. Didn't go inside. Just waited. 10 minutes later she walked out. And he followed her. Tall. Tatted. Grimy confidence. Like he owned the night. And then? They kissed. Not a quick goodbye. Not a peck. A full-on, hand on back of her neck, push you against the wall kind of kiss. She never kissed me like that. I stood there, a block away, leash shaking in my hand, heart pounding so hard I thought I'd pass out. And then it hit me. I knew that face. I'd met him. A month earlier, Emily had dragged me to one of her company happy hours. Some marketing event downtown. She introduced me to a few people, but only one stood out. Tall guy. Cocky. Tattoo on his wrist. Called me, my dude, and asked if I kept Emily on a leash. She laughed. I didn't. "Tyler, this is Nate," she said, sipping her drink. "He's hilarious. Works with me on the spring campaigns." So that was Nate. Not some stranger. Not some random guy she met at a bar. She was screwing a coworker. And smiling in my face while doing it. I walked home that night, and didn't say a word when she came in later. I just laid in bed, eyes wide open, listening to her breathe. She kissed me on the cheek again. Whispered, "You're my whole world." The level of delusion was insane. She didn't know I'd seen them. She didn't know I was building a storm. She didn't know I was going to burn her world down. But soon, she'd find out. And when I was done, there wouldn't be a single lie she could hide behind. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. But mine? I was gonna serve it frozen, plated with every lie she ever told me, garnished with the smirk Nate wore when he shook my hand and called me bro. I wasn't going to explode. I wasn't going to scream. No, I was going to ruin them. Emily had no clue I'd seen them. That I'd watched them kiss under a flickering bar sign like they were the only two people in the world. She came home, tossed her purse on the counter, kicked off her heels like nothing had happened, and grabbed a bottle of wine. I stayed silent, pretending to scroll through my phone. She handed me a glass like always. To us, she said, clinking hers against mine. Can't believe it's almost our 5th anniversary. 5th. 5 years of my life given to this woman. 5 years where I backed her dreams, covered her rent when she couldn't swing it, helped her through her mom's death, nursed her through surgery, supported her through every breakdown and every promotion. And she repaid it with Nate. I forced a smile. Time flies. She kissed my cheek. I let her. Over the next few days, I put every piece of my plan in place. I wasn't going to just expose her. I wanted her to feel the ground shift under her feet. First, I gathered evidence. Not screenshots. Not messages. Hard copies. I printed out her texts. Her photos. The call logs. I even found a voice memo she'd accidentally saved to the cloud. One where she was clearly in a car, whispering, "I hate lying to him, but I can't stop seeing you." Perfect. Then I bought a burner phone. Loaded it with everything. Labeled each file. Numbered them. Every message. Every photo. Every deleted whisper. Chronological order. Next step, Nate. I created a new Gmail account and emailed him anonymously. Subject: Your career's about to get interesting. Attachment: a zipped folder titled Emily_secrets. He didn't respond. But I watched as Emily's location suddenly shot toward his apartment that night. She stayed for 3 hours. Probably damage control. But she was already too late. I waited 2 days. Then I made my move. I requested time off work. Told Emily I was going on a short solo trip to recharge. She kissed me goodbye, told me to have fun and take pics. I smiled. Oh, I will. What I actually did. I drove straight to her company headquarters. Why? Because Emily had just gotten promoted 2 months ago. A big fancy marketing lead role. And Nate? He was her subordinate. Their company had a strict non-fraternization policy. One slip up and it was immediate termination. So I walked into that building wearing a clean button-down and my calmest face. Receptionist. Can I help you? Me. Yes. I'd like to speak with HR. Regarding a serious ethics violation. It involves 2 of your senior marketing staff. 10 minutes later, I was in a glass-walled conference room with the head of HR and her assistant. I placed a flash drive on the table. Everything's in there. Time-stamped. I'll leave you to review it. They asked who I was? Emily's husband. For now. I stood up and walked out. Didn't look back. By the time I got home, she was already calling me. I let it ring. Then ring again. And again. I finally picked up. Tyler? Her voice was shaky. Hey, I said casual. Everything okay? HR just pulled me into a meeting. They had photos. Texts. They said someone reported me. Nate got suspended pending investigation. He's threatening legal action. They're talking about putting me on leave. Tyler, did you? I cut her off. I know everything, Emily. Dead silence. I kept going. I know about the hotel. The texts. The late-night meetups. I know about Nate. I know how long it's been going on. I know you whispered his name in our bed like I wasn't even there. She gasped. A broken sound, like something snapped inside her. Tyler. I can explain. No. You can't. Her voice cracked. It didn't mean anything, I swear. I was stupid. It was a mistake, just a few times. I never stopped loving you. That part almost made me laugh. You loved me so much, you brought him into our home. I didn't, she yelled, desperate. I never crossed that line. Then why? I said slowly. Did I find one of his shirts in your gym bag? Silence. I hadn't. But she didn't deny it. I let that sink in. Then I said the words I've rehearsed for days. You're going to pack your things. You're going to leave. I'll send divorce papers by the end of the week. No, Tyler, please don't do this. I made a mistake. We can fix this. We've built a life. I hung up and blocked her. 10 minutes later, I got a text from Nate. You just ruined 2 lives. Hope it was worth it. I smiled and replied, Oh, I'm just getting started. The moment I hung up on her, my phone didn't stop blowing up. Texts, calls, voicemails, crying, screaming, begging. Every message was a different version of her panic. We can fix this. I love you. Please just talk to me. You're ruining everything. And finally, I don't deserve this. That one? That last message? That's when I knew she still didn't get it. She thought what she did was a mistake. No. A mistake is burning dinner. Forgetting an anniversary. This was a choice. Every text. Every kiss. Every time she turned off her phone and crawled into another man's arms, those were choices she made. Now, she'd live with mine. I moved fast. 2 days after the call, I met with my lawyer. A friend of my brother's, cutthroat, discreet, and surgical. He looked over the evidence I'd collected and nodded. You're handing me a nuclear bomb. This is an easy win. Good, I said. I want it clean. No alimony. No assets split. I want her out with nothing. He paused. You sure about that? She didn't leave me much to hold on to. He smirked. Then let's make her regret ever meeting you. Emily moved out before the week was over. Didn't say goodbye. She left a note on the counter. 3 paragraphs of, I never meant to hurt you. And, you'll always be my best friend. And, maybe one day we'll find our way back. I shredded it without reading the last line. She'd moved in with her sister, apparently. I didn't care. Her stuff was gone. The house was mine. My space was finally clean. But the fallout? That was just beginning. Turns out, HR didn't just put her on leave. She was fired. So was Nate. Apparently they'd been warned before about inappropriate boundaries. Guess this wasn't their first rodeo. A week later, I got a DM from one of Emily's old coworkers. Damn. Heard about the HR thing. Are you okay? I didn't respond, but she kept going. Just so you know, they were definitely talking about you. People knew. They'd show up late together all the time. She told people you were too controlling and that she was scared to leave. Scared to leave? That's what she told them. So I was the monster now. I should have felt angry. Instead, I just felt done. And Nate? Oh, Nate didn't take the fall quietly. He posted some passive-aggressive meltdown on LinkedIn about office politics, and false allegations, and betrayal. It went viral for all the wrong reasons. The comments section was a bloodbath. People called him out. Someone even reposted it with the caption, Don't dip your pen in the company ink, bro. His professional reputation? Shattered. Turns out his ex, yeah, Nate had a girlfriend too, saw the post, found my email, probably from the anonymous burner I'd used, and sent me everything. Photos. Voicemails. A shared lease he'd signed while sleeping with Emily. I thanked her. She said, Don't thank me. I'm just glad that cheating bastard finally got what he deserved. We raised a glass over Zoom. The divorce finalized in 6 weeks. She didn't fight it. Didn't try for the house. Didn't ask for anything. She looked hollow in court. Wore a black blazer 2 sizes too big. Didn't make eye contact once. When the judge asked if there were any objections, she whispered, No, like it hurt to say. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But then I remembered the hotel photo. And the way she moaned his name in her sleep while I lay inches away, believing we were still in love. Yeah. No sympathy left. A month later, I got a letter. Handwritten. No return address, but I knew it was her. The front just said, Read this if you ever loved me. I didn't open it. I walked it straight to the backyard, lit it on fire in the grill, and watched the ashes swirl into the sky. If I ever loved her? I did. But she buried that man the day she decided I wasn't enough. People always asked me, How did you stay so calm? How did you not lose your mind? I tell them the truth. Because losing it is exactly what she expected. That's what cheaters count on. They want you to spiral. To rage. To look crazy so they can play the victim. But I didn't give her that. I gave her silence. I gave her exposure. I gave her consequences. And when it was over, I walked away with my dignity intact, while she tried to glue her shattered life back together with the same lies that broke it in the first place. 2 months after the divorce was finalized, I was finally breathing again. The silence was clean. The space was mine. No more fake smiles across the dinner table. No more checking locations, scanning for lies, waiting for her to crack. I could finally sit in my living room, drink a beer, and not feel like I was drowning in someone else's betrayal. But peace doesn't last forever. Not when the past isn't done with you. It started with a DM. Instagram. From an account I didn't recognize. No profile picture. Just the name. Truth needed 87. The message? You don't know the half of it. I almost blocked it. Thought it was some spam bot or troll trying to stir up drama. But something about it made my stomach turn. I tapped into the message and replied. What are you talking about? They responded within seconds. It wasn't just Nate. You need to check 2022. Vegas trip. Ask her about Cole. My blood froze. Cole. That name hit me like a brick to the chest. Because I knew it. Flashback, March 2022. Emily took a girls' trip to Vegas. Said she needed a break. Just me and the ladies, she said. No drama, no boys, just spa and sunshine. I remembered teasing her. Don't come back married to a blackjack dealer. She laughed. You're so stupid. I love you. She brought me back a poker chip and a cheap t-shirt with Elvis on it. I wore that shirt while grilling. While fixing her car. While she kissed me goodnight with his name still echoing in her head. Cole. My hands started shaking. I texted the old coworker who'd reached out before. Random question. Do you remember anything about Emily and someone named Cole? 3 dots. Then. Oof. Yeah. He was a client. We had a campaign with his company last year. I heard they met in Vegas, actually. Some kind of event. She got real weird after that trip. I called her. Tell me everything. She hesitated, but then said it straight. People gossiped. Someone saw her and Cole at a private dinner. Looked cozy. Like too cozy. Emily always brushed it off. But I think something happened. We all did. I hung up. Went to my laptop. Pulled up our shared drive from back when we backed up photos together. I hadn't touched that folder since the split. There it was. Vegas 2022. I opened it. Most of it was harmless. Girls at the pool, daiquiris, those dumb oversized drinks with plastic yard-long straws. Then one photo caught my eye. It wasn't taken by her. She was in it. At a rooftop bar. Hair curled. Short black dress. Holding a drink. And standing next to her, with his arm around her waist, was a guy I'd never seen before. Bearded. Tall. Tan suit. Same guy I'd later see in the About Us section of a company we once signed a mortgage refi with. Cole. I zoomed in. Her smile wasn't forced. It wasn't posed. It was real. Comfortable. Familiar. Intimate. My throat went dry. She cheated on me before Nate. That Vegas trip wasn't an escape. It was a test run. I felt sick. This wasn't one mistake. Wasn't one affair. It was a pattern. A personality. A lifestyle. How many others were there? How many times did she come home and crawl into bed beside me with someone else's fingerprints still on her? And here I was thinking Nate was the big betrayal. He wasn't even the first. Just the sloppiest. I messaged the anonymous account again. Who are you? They didn't respond. I waited a full day. Checked every hour. Nothing. Then, late that night, they sent one final message. Check your health records. I'm sorry. What? I sat frozen for a second, trying to process it. Then my brain started racing. Check my health records? What the hell did that mean? I pulled up my medical portal. Logged in. Nothing recent, no alerts. I hadn't had a checkup in over a year. But then I remembered, Emily and I went together for a couple's wellness package a few months before the divorce. Blood panels? Full workup. I clicked into the file. And there it was. A small flag note on the bottom of my blood work. Irregular result, further screening recommended. I clicked again. The words hit me like a train. Possible STI indicator, non-symptomatic. Recommend retesting. I sat there staring at the screen, chest pounding. My jaw clenched. Hands balled into fists. She didn't just cheat. She didn't just lie. She put my health on the line. I made an appointment the next morning. Full panel. No waiting. 3 days later, the results came in. Positive. Something treatable. But the point wasn't the diagnosis. The point was the betrayal had gotten so deep, so filthy, that it had infected me physically. That's when the rage finally came. That's when I realized. Emily didn't just break my heart. She tried to erase me. You ever feel a rage so deep it doesn't scream, it whispers? That's where I was. Staring at those test results, hands ice cold, heart beating like a funeral drum. Emily didn't just cheat. She risked my health and walked around like it was nothing. Like I was disposable. Like my life, my body, was collateral damage for whatever thrills she needed. And now? She was going to learn what it feels like to be exposed. Utterly. Publicly. Irreversibly. I started by gathering receipts, real ones, doctor records, timeline charts, a spreadsheet with every single affair I'd uncovered. Cole from Vegas. Nate from work. A third guy I hadn't even shared yet, some old college friend, who visited last spring and stayed at our house while I was out of town. I found a Lyft ride to a hotel under her name from that same night. Her lies had layers, so I built my own stage. Not to scream. To reveal. Emily had started rebuilding her social life post-divorce. Trying to rebrand herself. New Instagram. New LinkedIn bio. Inspirational quotes about rising from the ashes. She was networking again. Trying to start a marketing consultancy. Hosting events. Putting herself back in the public eye. So I picked the perfect moment. A local industry meetup. Casual rooftop mixer, invite only, small business energy. And I showed up. She spotted me the second I walked in. Eyes widened like she'd seen a ghost. She was mid-convo with a group of 3 people, potential clients, by the look of their blazers and the way they clutched their wine glasses. She walked over, fake smile plastered on. Tyler, wow. What are you doing here? I smiled. Calm. Supporting local talent. She looked nervous. I didn't expect to see you here. Look, I know things ended badly, but maybe let's just keep this professional, yeah? I nodded. Then handed her an envelope. Thick. Unsealed. Heavy with truth. What is this? She asked, fingers trembling as she took it. I leaned in, lowered my voice. Something your next clients, and your next Tinder date, should probably see. She didn't open it right away. She clutched it, walking away fast, disappearing to a corner of the venue like she was on fire. I sipped my drink. Waited. 3 minutes later I heard her. Who showed him this? Who sent this? Heads turned. People stared. Her voice broke into a dozen pieces. She tried to gather them back into her throat, but it was too late. She dropped the envelope. Papers scattered across the rooftop. Photos. Text threads. A printed copy of the email I got from her anonymous ex-coworker confirming she slept with a client in Vegas. A copy of my STI result, with her name listed under the Partner Testing Advised section. Silence. People were already picking up the pages. Someone muttered. Jesus Christ. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. She was unraveling in real time. And the thing about cheaters? They don't handle truth well. Not when it's loud. Not when it shows up with a face. She stormed toward me, fists clenched, eyes wild. You're a psycho. I finished my drink. You're a liar. I guess we both have labels now. Her voice shook. You think this makes you strong? You think this is justice? I leaned in, low enough that only she could hear. No. This is just honesty. The justice part comes when you try to get a job and every Google result pulls up this night. I left her standing there, surrounded by a crowd that no longer clapped for her, no longer saw her as anything but a walking cautionary tale. And it didn't feel like triumph. It felt like closure. Because I didn't need her to fall apart forever. I just needed the world to finally see her without the mask. I drove home. Windows down. Wind in my face. Felt something I hadn't in months. Peace. Then my phone buzzed. Blocked number. Voicemail. I let it play on speaker as I pulled into the driveway. Emily's voice. Broken. Barely audible. I deserved it. I know that now. But I hope one day you understand. I wasn't just cheating on you. I was running from myself. Click. I sat in my car for a while. Didn't cry. Didn't rage. Just stared out the windshield thinking one thing. Then maybe you should have run faster. 2 weeks passed. No calls. No texts. No new profiles. Emily had gone dark. After the rooftop meltdown, I figured she'd moved away, maybe started over in another city. That's what cheaters do when they lose control. Vanish. Reinvent. Lie again in a different zip code. But the universe wasn't done with her. Because betrayal always leaves loose ends. And one of hers was about to land right on my doorstep. It started with a certified letter. No return address. Just my name, printed in all caps. No handwriting. No note. I opened it in the kitchen, expecting some final legal formality. Inside, a single sheet of paper. One sentence at the top. No greeting. No signature. There's something in the attic you never found. I stood there holding it like it was radioactive. I'd lived in that house for 5 years. I knew every inch of it. Or thought I did. But something about that note, the way it was typed, the wording, it wasn't a threat. It was a breadcrumb. So I got the ladder. The attic was mostly empty. Old holiday junk, unused luggage, a broken fan we never threw out. But near the back, behind a stack of boxes, I saw it. A small cardboard container. No markings. Just duct tape holding the lid closed. I pulled it down, heart pounding for no good reason, and opened it on the hallway floor. Inside were 2 things. A leather-bound journal. A small black velvet box. The journal wasn't hers. It was mine. One I'd kept back in 2019, the year after we got married. I'd written in it for a few months, therapy homework, trying to process the stress of my dad dying and Emily's career taking off. I thought I'd lost it during the move. Turns out, she'd taken it. Read it. Hid it. Page after page of my raw thoughts. My grief. My doubts. My loneliness. I'd written things I never told anyone, not even her. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one still trying. She doesn't look at me the same. If she ever cheats, I think it'll destroy me. And she read it. Before she ever touched Nate. Or Cole. Or whoever else. She knew how much it would break me. And she did it anyway. Then I opened the black velvet box. Inside was a necklace. A simple silver chain with a small heart pendant. Nothing flashy. Something she used to wear all the time, said it was from her mom, that it was sacred. She stopped wearing it around the time of the Vegas trip. I always assumed she lost it. But now, holding it, I realized something else. She buried it. Not to forget. To hide who she used to be. That night, I sat in the living room with both objects in front of me. The journal she violated. The necklace she abandoned. And I felt something shift. It wasn't rage. It wasn't pain. It was release. Because that was the last piece of her. Everything she never said, everything she tried to erase. And now it was in my hands. And not hers. I went out back. Built a small fire in the pit. Read the last page of the journal out loud. Then I tossed it in. Watched the pages curl and blacken, turning memories into smoke. The necklace? I didn't burn that. I walked to the river 2 blocks from our house. Stood at the edge. Watched the moon ripple over the water. Then I dropped it in. Let it sink. And just like that, she was gone. People always ask me now, am I dating again? Do I trust people? Yeah. But not because I forgot. Because I remembered who I am without her. Not the broken man she left. The one who survived it. Final thought. If she ever reads this, if she ever figures out this was all about her, I hope she understands something. It wasn't the affair that destroyed us. It was the moment she read my pain, understood it, and chose to cause it anyway. That's the part I'll never forgive. That's the scar I'll carry forever. And that's the lesson I live to tell. This was her story of betrayal. But it's my story of survival.